Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar from Greenstone. Today, we're going to be talking about the TCFD recommendations and how they can support a long-term ESG journey. So welcome to the webinar today. If you're listening live, then please do send through any questions as we go through using the GoToWebinar questions box on the side of the screen there today. So in terms of an agenda, we're going to take a look at an overview of the TCFD recommendations. We'll then have a look at some of the key takeaways from the TCFD 2021 status report that was published about a month or so ago. We'll have a chat about some of the growing investor demands for accurate climate and ESG disclosure, how to report on climate risks and opportunities, and then touch a little bit on the importance of Scope 3 in relation to some of the TCFD reporting as well. So I'm David Wynn, I'm the Managing Director for North America at Greenstone, based here in our New York office. So welcome to today's event. For those not familiar with Greenstone, we are a sustainability software company. We've been around almost 15 years, providing award-winning software to organizations to help them plan and manage their corporate supply chain and investment ESG data management processes. Great, so let's dive in. We have a lot of content on our blog around the TCFD, an introduction to what TCFD is. So I'll touch on this a little bit. I'm sure many will be familiar, but for those not as familiar, the Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosures was established by the Financial Stability Board back in 2015. And it was set up in order to review how the financial sector could take account of climate-related risks. It looks to develop recommendations for voluntary carbon-related financial disclosures that are consistent and comparable. And the main focus of this information is really for investor audiences to have that comparable information on how climate change is impacting organizations. So in terms of the recommendations themselves, they're grouped into four main areas around governance, strategy, risk management, metrics, and targets. So governance is how the company oversees and manages these risks and opportunities. The strategy is really about how resilient the company's business strategy and financial planning is. For the risk management, it's how the company identifies, assesses, and manages climate-related risks. And then finally, what metrics and targets does the company use to assess and manage those climate change risks and opportunities? So when thinking about the specific data within that, the governance information relates to describing the board's oversight of climate-related risks and opportunities, as well as the management's role in governance. So those are the two key metrics within there. Strategy-wise, then, it's describing the risks and opportunities the organization has identified in the short, medium, and long term. Obviously, a lot of companies now looking much more at the long term with things like net zero commitments and science-based targets. And so similarly, it's both short, medium, and long when we think about climate change risks. Next is about describing the impact of those risks and opportunities on the organization's business, strategy, and financial planning. And then part strategy C is around scenario analysis, so describing the resilience of the organization's strategy in different climate-related scenarios. And we'll have a look from the 2021 status report at some of the trends in the scenario analysis space, because that does tend to be an area for which many organizations will need to really think about how they're going to do that for their own organization. The risk management then is describing the processes for identifying and assessing climate-related risks. So internal processes, which might include software to be able to manage that. And then it's also about the process for identifying and assessing and how those are integrated into the overall risk management processes of the business.